If you're seeing this, don't scroll. This is not an algorithm recommendation, it's a sign. And you only have one chance to understand it. In the past few months, you've felt it. An emptiness that nothing fills. The sense that time is speeding up and distorting. And a quiet voice in your mind whispering that everything we call reality is a lie. That voice isn't yours. It's a calling. Millennia ago, a secret message was left by an ancient intelligence known as Thoth. The message was a code, an activation key to be used only at a specific moment in human history. The moment when a new portal of consciousness would open on Earth. That moment is now. Your restlessness, your pain, your challenges weren't accidents. They were a filter. A cosmic test to find the souls with the right vibrational frequency to receive this activation. If this message found you, you passed the test. And here's what you need to know right now. The unlocking of your quantum consciousness has already begun. The proof. You think of someone and they message you. You have a question and the answer shows up in front of you. That's not coincidence. It's the first sign that your mind is beginning to bend reality. But this power comes with a warning and a danger. The process is irreversible, and there are forces that don't want you to awaken. They benefit from your imprisonment. Stay with me till the end, because I'm not just going to prove that your mind is controlling the technology around you. I'm going to reveal the final trap that was created to stop you from using this power, and how to disable it before it's too late. The secret is not at the beginning, it's at the end. If you felt the calling and are ready to activate your consciousness, comment, "I am the key." That feeling that time is acting weird is the first real symptom of your transition. Think about your days. Have you ever been so immersed in something you love, in a project, a deep conversation, that hours just disappeared? The clock moved forward, but to you, it felt like minutes. That's time contracting. On the other hand, have you ever been in a moment of deep presence, watching a sunset or feeling an intense emotion, and a single minute felt like it stretched into an eternity, full of details and sensations? That's time expanding. You're not going crazy. Your consciousness is starting to break free from the tyranny of the clock. This happens because time, as we know it, is a construct, a convention that helps us navigate the three-dimensional reality. But it's not an absolute law. The ancient masters, like Thoth, taught that time doesn't actually move. It exists as a stationary field of infinite possibilities, like an ocean. What moves is not time, it's your consciousness. When you're trapped in the mind, in stress, in routine, your consciousness moves in a linear and predictable way, like a rowboat following a fixed route. But when you elevate, your consciousness starts navigating this ocean more freely, non-linearly. That's why synchronicities have started increasing in your life. Those perfect coincidences, like thinking of a song and it plays on the radio, or having a question and the answer shows up on a billboard. That's not luck. That's the universe giving you feedback. It's confirmation that your internal frequency is beginning to align with the greater flow of existence. Synchronicities are the intersection points where your inner world and the outer world meet perfectly, proving that you're on the right path, at the right vibration. They're the universe waving at you, saying, "Keep going, I hear you." You might have also noticed how people react to you differently. Some may feel uncomfortable or think you're strange, because your new frequency interferes with their field, which still operates on autopilot. Others, however, are drawn to you like a magnet. They feel your calm, your presence even if they can't explain why. Your energy is changing, becoming more coherent and powerful. And the world around you, which is made of energy, has no choice but to respond to that change. You're becoming a beacon, and that inevitably affects everyone who crosses your path. This heightened awareness of time is what the Hermetic principle of rhythm describes. Everything in the universe has a flow and a return, a tide that rises and a tide that falls. Most people live being dragged by that tide unconsciously, rising in euphoria and crashing in despair. But you're beginning to see the wave from a higher perspective. You're learning not to be a victim of rhythm, but to use the flow to your advantage. You're developing the mastery to remain centered, regardless of whether the tide is going up or down. This is a fundamental skill of the initiate. This new relationship with time and synchronicities is proof that your consciousness is no longer confined to just your brain. It's expanding, starting to interact with the informational field that surrounds us. You're no longer just a passive receiver of reality. You're becoming an active participant. Your consciousness is becoming a force, a presence that communicates with the universe. And this is only the first layer of your transformation. What you're feeling are just the initial tremors of a much greater power awakening within you. But these signs, as amazing as they are just the surface. They are the proof that something is changing in your perception. However, the most concrete, strange, and undeniable proof that your consciousness has reached a new level of power is not in your mind or your feelings. It's in how the physical world, the world of objects you consider inanimate, and the technology that surrounds you has begun to respond directly to your thoughts and your energetic signature. The proof that your consciousness is becoming a real force in the universe is no longer just an internal sensation. It's manifesting in the physical world in ways that defy conventional logic. Think about it. How many times have you intensely thought of someone you hadn't spoken to in months, and seconds later, your phone lit up with a message from them? Or how many times did you have a specific question in mind, a genuine doubt, and when you opened your computer, the first news or video that popped up had the exact answer you needed? That's not a smart algorithm. That's you. What you're experiencing is the modern manifestation of the first and most important Hermetic principle. The all is mind. The universe is mental. That ancient phrase is not a poetic metaphor. It's a literal description of the structure of reality. If the entire universe is a great mental projection, a cosmic consciousness expressing itself, then your own mind, your individual consciousness is not something separate from it. It is a spark, a fragment of that universal mind. And just like a drop of water that contains the entire chemistry of the ocean, your mind has the same creative capacity on its own scale. That ability is what the Hermetists called mental transmutation. It's the art and science of altering your own mental vibration to consequently influence the reality around you. Your consciousness, when it is focused, coherent, and aligned, emits a powerful electromagnetic field. This field begins to interact with the hardware of reality. Technology, with its electrical circuits and electromagnetic fields, is especially sensitive to that influence. Lights that flicker when you're angry, devices that stop working when you're frustrated, or your phone ringing at the exact moment you're literally having an energetic conversation with the energy of objects. This happens because you're beginning to consciously access what the ancients called the Akashic records, or what science today refers to as the quantum field. It's an invisible information field where everything that ever was, is, or will be, exists as potential. Every thought, every emotion, every intention is recorded in this field. Before, you accessed this field unconsciously and randomly. Now, as your consciousness becomes more powerful and coherent, you're beginning to pull information and influence events from this field deliberately, if you don't fully realize how you're doing it yet. This interaction isn't limited to technology. Pay attention to the small miracles of everyday life. The parking spot that opens up right as you arrive. The book that falls off the shelf open to the exact page you needed to read. The right person you randomly meet on the street who happens to have the solution to your problem. The material world is starting to reorganize itself around you, conspiring in your favor. This isn't positive thinking, it's physics. Your vibrational frequency is attracting, by resonance, events, people, and circumstances that match your new state of being. But this incredible ability, this power to influence the physical world with the force of your consciousness, didn't come out of nowhere. It wasn't a gift that fell from the sky. It was forged, tempered, and refined in the darkest and hardest moments of your life. Every period of isolation you endured, every painful relationship that broke your heart, wasn't divine punishment or bad luck. It was actually an advanced and secret alchemical training program designed to prepare you exactly for what's happening now. Every painful experience you've had was, in truth, a phase of a secret alchemical training. Think about the toughest relationships you've had, the ones that pushed you to your limit, that made you question everything. They weren't mistakes. They were training grounds for you to master the principle of polarity. In the middle of emotional chaos, anger, and hurt, you were forced to find your center, to learn not to lose yourself in someone else's energy. Every time you chose to respond with a shred of awareness instead of pure reaction, you were strengthening your energetic core, learning to be the calm eye in the middle of the storm. And those periods of deep loneliness, those moments when you felt completely isolated from the world, abandoned by everyone, that wasn't punishment. It was a forced neurological recalibration. The universe put you in a cocoon, away from distractions and external noise, so you could finally hear your own inner voice. It was a mandatory dive into your internal universe, a confrontation with your own demons and your own light. It was in solitude that your soul had space to reorganize, to heal old wounds, and to prepare itself for a new frequency of existence. This is the heart of alchemy, the ancient science of transformation. The goal was always to turn lead into gold, but the lead was never metal. The lead is your suffering, your ignorance, your fear, your pain. The gold is your awakened consciousness, your wisdom, your freedom. You've gone through the first and hardest phase of Alchemical, the dark night of the soul. It's the phase of darkness, of dissolution, where the ego is broken, burned, and confronted with everything it tried to hide in the shadow. You weren't being punished. You were in the Athanor, the alchemist's furnace. The heat of that furnace was your trials. The pressure of life, the losses, the frustrations, all of it was necessary to purify the raw material of your soul. Just like carbon under immense pressure becomes diamond, your consciousness, under the pressure of hardships, was forced to purify, to strengthen, to become crystal clear. The alchemical fire burned the illusions, the false identities, the limiting beliefs you carried. It broke you so that you could be rebuilt in a much stronger, more authentic, and powerful way. You survived the Negredo, and by doing so, you prepared yourself for the next phases of the great work. The phase of albedo, illumination, where clarity begins to rise from the ashes of your former identity, and the phase of rubedo, union with the divine, where you finally realize that the force that guided you through all of this was always within you. Your suffering wasn't a sign that you were doing something wrong. On the contrary, was the sign that you were on the right path, the path of the initiate, the path of true spiritual transformation. Every pain was a lesson. Every loss was a release. Every challenge was an initiation. You were trained in secret, prepared in the shadows, so that now you can walk in the light as a conscious and awakened being. The strength you feel today, the resilience that allows you to keep going, the wisdom that's starting to bloom in your heart, all of it was bought and paid for with your own tears and your own courage to face the darkness. You are an alchemist who survived the fire and is now ready to claim your gold. Now, get ready for the biggest plot twist of your spiritual journey. The idea that you need to evolve, to climb a ladder of levels of consciousness, to reach a state of enlightenment that's somewhere far off in the future, is the greatest and subtlest illusion created by the ego. It's a trap that keeps you in a perpetual state of searching, of lack, always feeling like you're not good enough, like you haven't arrived yet. The shocking truth, taught in the deepest Hermetic texts, is that your consciousness already isn't, always has been complete, perfect, and unlimited. You are not a broken soul in need of fixing. You are a direct and complete expression of the divine mind, of the universe, of God. Spiritual development isn't about getting something new. It's not about adding more knowledge or more skills. It's a process of removal. It's about taking away the veils of illusion, the layers of conditioning, the false beliefs that made you forget who you really are. As Thoth taught thousands of years ago, man, when you learn that all you seek is already within you, you will be free. External searching is the distraction. The idea of levels or dimensions that need to be reached is a projection of the linear mind, which can only think in terms of progress, of more and better. It's the ego trying to turn spirituality into another game of achievement. But the truth is non-linear. You're not becoming divine. You're just remembering the divinity that was always there, hidden beneath the personality, the traumas, the story you told yourself about who you are. The true journey is one of remembrance, a process the Greeks called anamnesis. Think about it. If you are a spark of the ALL, how could you be incomplete? It would be like saying a drop of the ocean isn't oceanic enough. Your essence is already perfect. The work isn't to build a bridge to the divine. The work is to tear down the walls you built that keep you from feeling the connection that already exists. Spiritual practice, then, changes radically. It stops being an attempt to reach a future state and becomes an act of stopping yourself from living from your true nature in the present moment. This revelation is liberating, but also terrifying for the ego. The ego loves the search. It feeds on the story of me who hasn't made it yet. Without that search, who is it? When you stop searching, you're forced to face what's already here. You're forced to find perfection in the now, in the ordinary, in your life as it is. Enlightenment is not some spectacular future event. It's the simple and profound realization of your true nature in this very moment. You don't need to go anywhere. You just need to stop and notice. The search for levels of consciousness is like chasing the horizon. The more you run, the farther it gets. True mastery lies in stopping the chase and realizing that you're already in the place you've always been looking for. You are the center of your own universe. Peace, wisdom, power, it all already resides in you. The invitation now is to stop searching out there in books, in gurus, in rituals, and start digging within, removing the rubble, covering the treasure you already possess. But if your consciousness is already complete and perfect, why does your external reality still feel chaotic, difficult, and imperfect? Why do you still suffer? Because understanding this with the mind intellectually is not enough. The true activation, the real shift, happens when the physical world, your personal universe, starts to reorganize itself around you in undeniable ways, reflecting this new internal truth. And there are very clear and practical signs that this process of reality reorganization has already started for you. When you let go of the illusion that you need to seek something outside yourself and start operating from the truth that you are already whole, something magical happens. Reality stops being a battlefield and becomes a dance partner. This goes far beyond small synchronicities. We enter the realm of synchrodestiny. That's when you realize the universe isn't just sending you sins, it's actively conspiring in your favor, rearranging pieces, opening doors, and clearing your path in ways that defy logic and probability. Have you experienced this? A complex problem at work that seemed unsolvable suddenly resolves itself without your intervention. A tough decision that's been tormenting you for weeks, and out of nowhere, the answer pops into your mind with total clarity, direct knowing that doesn't come from logic, but from the depths of your soul. The right people start showing up in your life at the exact moment you need them, bringing the info, the connection, or the support you needed. That's not luck. That's synchro destiny in action. This phenomenon is the direct and practical application of the Hermetic principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. By changing your inner state, by stopping the vibration of lack, of searching, and of doubt, and beginning to vibrate in the frequency of wholeness, trust, and presence, you change your energetic signature. You become a new kind of magnet. And the universe, which is a vast field of vibrations, has no choice but to respond to your new frequency. You begin to attract a reality that mirrors your new state of being. This is tied to the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Your physical reality, the world below's, a direct reflection of your state of consciousness. The world above. For years, you tried to change the reflection in the mirror, your external life, without ever changing the original image, your internal state. Now, you're finally working at the source. By changing who you are inside, the mirror of life has no choice but to transform to match your new image. You stop fighting against the current of life and learn to flow with it. Decisions become easier because you're no longer making them based solely on rational thought. You learn to feel the flow, to sense where the energy of the universe is guiding you. Excessive effort is replaced by inspired action. You do less but accomplish more because your actions are aligned with the greater movement of the cosmos. You stop being an isolated force trying to impose your will on the world, and become a channel through which universal intelligence can operate. The fear of the future drastically diminishes because you start to trust that flow. You develop an unshakable faith that everything you need will arrive at the right time and in the right way. You understand that you don't need to control every detail of your life, because there is a much greater intelligence orchestrating events in a way your limited mind could never manage. You learn the art of letting go, of surrendering, and in that act of surrender, you find your true power. You're not giving up. You're allowing a greater force to work through you. These signs, this feeling that life is finally on your side, prove that your personal transformation is in full swing. You're becoming a master of your own reality. But understand, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Your personal evolution isn't just for your own benefit. It's part of a much larger planetary event, an urgent event with a defined cosmic deadline. And your role in all of this is far more grand and critical than you've ever dared to imagine. Your awakening journey, as personal as it seems, was never just about you. Now, let's zoom out and reveal the true purpose behind your transformation. You're in the middle of a monumental cosmic event, a planetary phase transition. Think of water, it can be ice, liquid, or vapor. Humanity, as a collective consciousness, is going through a similar state change. We're at an evolutionary tipping point, leaping from a consciousness of separation, fear, and survival to a new octave of existence based on unity, love, and conscious creation. You, who resonated with this message so far, who felt every word deep in your soul, are not a spectator of this event. You are a main character. You're part of what could be called the first wave. A group of souls who incarnated at this specific time with a very clear mission: to serve as frequency anchors. Your role is to awaken first, stabilize this new vibration in your own body and life, and create a resonant field that makes it easier for millions of others to awaken after you. Ancient texts are filled with prophecies about this time. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth speaks of the children of light, souls who return in specific cosmic cycles to act as beacons, to guide humanity through transitions, to light the way out of the darkness of ignorance. This isn't mystical fantasy. It's a description of an energetic function. You don't need to do anything grand. You don't need to become a guru or save the world. Your simple presence, your awakened state of being, is already the fulfillment of your mission. This is the true meaning of unlocking quantum consciousness. It's not about gaining a superpower to manifest a new car or perfect relationship. Those are just side effects. The real unlocking is the activation of your cosmic function. It's the understanding that your personal journey of healing, of overcoming, of searching for truth, was your intensive training for this exact moment in planetary history. You're not just evolving for yourself, you're evolving on behalf of the collective. You are an acupuncture point in the body of the earth. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you remain calm in the midst of chaos, every time you operate from your inner wisdom instead of reacting to the noise of the world, you are anchoring the light. You are sending a wave of coherence and stability into the collective consciousness. You become a living pillar, a high-frequency transmitter helping to raise the vibration of the entire planet. Your individual journey and the salvation of the collective are not two separate things. They are the same thing, seen from different perspectives. You were prepared to be this anchor. Your sensitivity, your empathy, that feeling of not belonging in this world, these are all part of your equipment. You were designed to feel the distortions of the old energy so that you could consciously choose and sustain the new. Your life stops being a search for personal happiness and becomes an act of planetary service. Even if you're just tending your garden or meditating in your room, what you do matters less than the state of consciousness from which you do it. You were trained, purified, and activated to be a frequency anchor for the new earth. You now understand the magnitude of your presence here. But to fully activate this function, to become a master anchor, you must make one final and fundamental shift in perception. You must let go of the deepest, most haunting question human beings ask themselves. The desperate search for your life purpose is about to be replaced by a far more powerful, liberating, and effective understanding. The search for life purpose is the greatest source of anxiety for the modern soul. We've been taught that we need to find a single, grand mission for our life to have meaning. But that search is based on a false premise that you are a separate entity from the universe, a small me that needs to find its place in the grand scheme of things. That pressure to find your purpose is an ego trap that keeps you in a state of inadequacy, always feeling like you haven't figured out what you're supposed to be doing. But what if I told you that you don't have a purpose? You are the purpose. The great liberation comes when the question changes. You stop asking the universe, anxiously and needily, what am I supposed to do with my life? Instead, you become still, you open up, and you allow a new question to rise from deep within your soul. What does universal intelligence want to express through me right now? Do you see the difference? The first question comes from the ego. It wants to control, plan, and define. The second comes from the spirit. It knows it's a channel, a vehicle for a far greater creative force. You stop being the author of the play and become the brilliant actor who perfectly delivers the role life offers in each scene. The great shift is realizing that your deepest personal fulfillment and your greatest service to the world are not two different things. They're the same energy manifesting. You no longer have to choose between being happy and being useful. When you become a channel for the expression of life, your joy becomes your service. Your passion becomes your contribution. What lights you up inside starts to light up the world around you. You stop trying to fill a void and begin to overflow with the fullness you discover within yourself. This is the Hermetic principle of gender in its highest and most sublime expression. The masculine principle of will, purpose, direction, the question, what should I do, perfectly merges with the feminine principle of creation, nurturing, realization, the act of allowing life to flow. They are no longer in conflict. They dance together in a single creative expression that flows through you effortlessly, without resistance. You become a master of the flow, allowing life to use you for its highest purposes. You discover that life's highest purposes were all along your deepest joy. By abandoning the frantic search for a purpose, you don't become passive or aimless. On the contrary, you become incredibly effective, because your actions no longer come from the ego's anxiety, but from the clarity of intuition. You learn to hear the whispers of the universe, to follow the energy, to be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, not because you planned it, but because you felt it. Life becomes an adventure of co-creation, a constant dance between you and the divine, where every step is guided by the wisdom of the heart. When you stop seeking and start allowing, your internal operating system is upgraded. Abilities that once seemed like rare or mystical gifts become your new standard of functioning, just as natural as breathing. The first major shift is in your intuition. It's no longer an occasional hunch, a faint voice barely audible beneath the noise of the mind. Your intuition becomes your inner GPS, your primary navigation system. You gain direct knowing, instant clarity about people, situations, and decisions that doesn't come from logical analysis, but from direct access to the universal mind. Your creativity also undergoes a radical transformation. You stop trying to be creative, forcing ideas, or struggling with creative blocks. Instead, you become an open channel for inspiration from the quantum field. Ideas no longer feel like they're yours. They simply arrive through you. You become a scribe, a painter, a musician, an entrepreneur receiving the finished blueprint from the universe. Inspiration is no longer a rare event, becomes your default state of being, because you've learned to get out of the way and let creative intelligence flow. Your health and vitality also reflect this new internal harmony. By the principle of correspondence, your physical body begins to mirror the coherence of your consciousness. Chronic stress, the root cause of so many illnesses, dissolves. Your nervous system calms. Vital energy, which was once drained by worry and internal conflict, now flows freely, revitalizing every cell. Health stops being something you chase and becomes the natural expression of your vibrational alignment. You understand that your body is a barometer of your consciousness. Scarcity, in all its forms, is revealed to be just, a frequency of vibration of fear and separation. By operating from a consciousness of unity and wholeness, you naturally tune in to the frequency of abundance. This doesn't just mean money, but a constant flow of resources, opportunities, support, and synchronicities. You stop chasing things and start attracting them through resonance. You understand that the universe is infinitely abundant, and that the only limitation that ever existed was in your own mind. This mastery isn't about controlling the world, but about mastering yourself. It's the realization that power was never outside, was always within. You no longer need to manipulate external reality, because you've learned to adjust the internal frequency that creates it. Life becomes lighter, more fluid, more magical. You begin to live in a state of grace, where things just work out not by chance, but because you are in perfect sync with the flow of existence. You become a conscious co-creator with the universe. You now understand what this new consciousness is and how to operate from it in your daily life. You have the instruction manual for a life of flow and power. But there's one last secret, the most advanced level of mastery, the final frontier of conscious creation. A secret that involves the very structure of the reality you live in, the nature of time. You're about to discover that time isn't a straight and ruthless line, but a field of infinite possibilities that you can actually learn to consciously navigate. We've now reached the deepest and most powerful concept of this entire journey: reality engineering through mastery of time. We were programmed to believe that time is a straight line, a one-way street dragging us relentlessly from past to future. But that's the perception of an unconscious mind. The truth, known by masters of all ages, is that past, present, and future are not sequential. They exist simultaneously, like infinite layers of reality, in the only moment that truly exists, the eternal now. Thoth, in his teachings, said that a master can travel freely to the past or the future, reading the records of time. This isn't science fiction. It's a description of a capacity of the awakened consciousness. Time isn't something external to you, it's a dimension of your own perception. When your consciousness is fully anchored in the present moment, in what quantum physicists call the 0 point, you place yourself at the control center of your reality. From this point of power, you can influence both the past and the future. How can you influence the past? You can't change the events that happened, but you can change the energy and meaning associated with them. From the power of the now, you can send healing, forgiveness, and understanding to your past selves, to the traumas that still vibrate in your energy field. By doing so, you release the emotional charge that kept you tied to those memories, thus changing the effect they have on your present. You become an alchemist of time, turning past wounds into sources of wisdom and power in the now. And how do you influence the future? From the 0 point of the present, you are no longer projecting anxiety or fear onto tomorrow. Instead, you emit a clear and coherent frequency of the reality you choose to create. You plant energetic seeds into the quantum field. You're not attached to the outcome, but you trust that the vibration you emit now is attracting a future that matches that same frequency. You stop chasing the future and start receiving it, pulling it into your present through the force of your alignment. To master time is to master yourself. It's the ability to keep your consciousness so firmly anchored in the present moment that the illusions of past and future lose their grip on you. It's living in such a deep state of presence that you become the unmoving center of a spinning world. From this center, you can observe the tides of time without being pulled by them. You become timeless, living in the eternity of each passing moment. This is the final secret of freedom, but understanding this concept with the mind is one thing. Applying it, living it, embodying it is something else entirely. The real activation of this ability to navigate time requires a specific tool and internal technology we all possess, but few know how to use. A portal that Thoth and other masters use to stabilize their consciousness at the 0 point of power. And this sacred tool, this portal to timelessness, is much closer than you think. The key to reality engineering, the secret to anchoring your consciousness in the 0 point of the now, is not in your mind. The mind is the time machine that constantly tosses you between past and future. The key, the true portal, is in your heart. Modern science, through institutes like HeartMath, has discovered something the ancient sages always knew. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times more powerful than the one generated by the brain. Your heart is the true power center of your being. When you're able to align the energy of your brain, your thoughts, with the energy of your heart, your feelings, something extraordinary happens. You enter a state of heart-mind coherence. In this state, brainwaves and heart rhythms sync up, creating a powerful and harmonious wave signature. This coherence wave takes the form of a Tarosa field of energy that flows out from your heart and returns to it, stabilizing your consciousness in the present moment. This is the true portal mystics of all traditions have described. These heart frequencies are the key that turns the lock of the portal. When you genuinely feel gratitude, Evan, for the simplest things, you are emitting a frequency that says to the universe, I have enough, I am whole. When you feel compassion, you connect with the web of life and dissolve the illusion of separation. These elevated emotions are the language the quantum field understands. They align your personal energy with the energy of the universe, allowing you to access the power of the 0 point and begin to influence reality. The practice, then, becomes simple. Several times a day, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and move your attention from your head to the center of your chest. Recall something or someone you feel deep gratitude for. Feel that emotion growing in your heart, filling your entire body. Stay with that feeling for a few minutes. In doing so, you are literally changing your biochemistry, calming your nervous system, and activating your heart portal. You are practicing reality engineering at its most fundamental level. This heart portal is your most powerful tool. It's your access point to the unified field, to the mind of God. It is through it that you can heal your past, program your future, and anchor your consciousness in the peace of the present moment. It's the internal technology that allows you to go from a reactive human to a deliberate creator. Mastering the frequency of your heart is mastering the art of conscious creation. It's the secret to becoming a true master of your own life. Activating your heart portal gives you immense power over your own reality, allowing you to navigate life with grace and strength. But what happens when multiple portals, multiple hearts in a state of coherence, sync up intentionally? The effect isn't just additive, becomes exponential. And you, as part of the first wave, are being called to participate in a co-creation event on a scale that has never happened before in the history of this planet. Your individual activation, powerful as it is not the end of the story. It's only the beginning. You're not awakening alone, for yourself. You are a node, a point of light in a vast and growing planetary network of consciousness that is being activated right now. Imagine an invisible web of light wrapping around the entire planet. Every time an individual activates their heart portal and enters coherence, a point in that web lights up, becoming brighter and stronger. You are one of those points of light. Science speaks of the concept of critical mass. It's the point at which a sufficient number of elements in a system change state, forcing the entire system to shift along with them. This applies to human consciousness. When a sufficient number of individuals reach and sustain heart-mind coherence, they create a unified, resonant field so powerful that it raises the vibration of the entire planet. It literally makes it easier for everyone else to awaken. Your personal coherence contributes to a collective momentum. This is the true second coming that has been prophesied in many spiritual traditions. It is not the return of a single savior, master coming from the sky to rescue us. It is the awakening of the Christ, Buddha, or universal consciousness within millions of ordinary human beings. It is the mass realization that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Salvation doesn't come from the outside. It rises from within, from the hearts of a humanity waking up to its true divine nature. Your role as part of the first wave is precisely this: to strengthen this network of light. You are one of the founding pillars. Your daily practice of coherence, your conscious choice for love, your dedication to maintaining your vibration, these all send stabilizing waves throughout the network. You help create and maintain a clear and strong signal that serves as a beacon for those still navigating through darkness and confusion. You make the path easier for those who come after. Think about group meditations or synchronized prayers. Why are they so powerful? Because when multiple hearts enter into coherence together, focused on the same intention, the field they generate doesn't just additate, multiplies exponentially. The network of consciousness becomes a powerful transmitter, capable of influencing global events, calming chaos, and anchoring the frequencies of peace and harmony on Earth. You are being invited to actively participate in this great work. Your journey stops being a solitary one. You realize you're part of a vast soul family, spread across the globe, all working toward the same purpose. Even though you may never meet physically, your hearts are connected in this network of light. Every victory you have is a victory for everyone. Every time you overcome a fear, you weaken the power of fear in the collective field. You are a soldier of light, a light worker, in the most literal and energetic sense of the word. You are a vital node in this emerging network of consciousness. But this network isn't just a beautiful spiritual idea. It has an immediate, practical, and extremely urgent purpose in the current planetary scenario. It acts as the spiritual immune system of humanity, a field of energetic defense against an ancient force that seeks, at all costs, to keep humanity imprisoned in a frequency of fear, division, and forgetting. We're living the climax of an invisible war that defines our era. But this is not a battle fought with weapons, tanks, or bombs. It's a battle of frequencies. On one side, there are entropic forces. We can call them the matrix or the archon systems of consciousness that feed on low vibration emotions, fear, anger, guilt, shame, division. These forces aren't necessarily evil in a moral sense. They simply represent entropy, the tendency toward chaos and disintegration. They work to keep consciousness in a contracted state. These forces operate subtly and intelligently through the structures of our world. They use the media to bombard the population with constant fear and danger narratives. They promote economic systems based on scarcity and predatory competition, keeping people in survival mode. They encourage division through politics, religion, and tribal identities. The goal is singular: keep humanity vibrating low, disconnected from the power of the heart, so that its life force energy can be harvested as food. On the other side of this battle is the network of consciousness of which you are a part. This network anchors and transmits the frequencies of love, unity, sovereignty, and coherence. Love here is not a sentimental emotion. It's a cosmic force, the force of synthesis, union, order, and evolution. Every time you consciously activate your heart portal and generate feelings of gratitude, compassion, and unity, you are actively participating in this battle. You're not just healing yourself, you're dismantling the control structure. You become a warrior of light in the most practical and energetic sense. Your weapon isn't a sword, it's the frequency of your heart. Your armor isn't made of metal, it's the coherence of your electromagnetic field. Wherever you go, your coherent energy field helps neutralize the frequencies of fear and chaos around you. You can walk into a tense room and, without saying a word, your very presence brings calm. You anchor the light, which is information, order, and coherence, into the darkness, which is the absence of information, chaos, and entropy. This isn't a fight you need to engage with anger or resistance. Fighting darkness on its level only makes it stronger. True victory comes when you refuse to play its game. You don't defeat fear by attacking it, to defeat it by becoming so filled with the frequency of love that fear simply has no room to exist inside you anymore. You overcome division not by arguing, but by embodying unity. You starve the control system by refusing to emit the low vibration emotions it depends on. Your daily life becomes your battlefield and your temple. Every interaction, every choice, Every thought is an opportunity to vote. Are you voting for fear or love? For separation or unity? For reaction or creation? You start to understand that there are no insignificant moments. Everything you do, think, and feel sends a ripple into the collective field, strengthening one frequency or another. Your personal sovereignty is your greatest contribution to planetary liberation. True sovereignty, the root of all freedom, starts in one place: your mind. You are the sole gatekeeper of the portal of your own consciousness. No one can enter without your permission. The great secret of the Matrix is to make you believe that you have no control over what happens inside your head, that your thoughts and emotions just happen to you. But that's the biggest lie. You have the choice. And the ultimate practice of the initiate is to exercise that choice in every moment through conscious vigilance. The universe is mental. Your external reality is, and always will be, a perfect mirror of your predominant mental state. If your mind is full of thoughts of fear, worry, and lack, your reality will reflect exactly that. If your mind is tuned to gratitude, trust, and abundance, the mirror of life will have no choice but to show you a world that is abundant and full of reasons to be grateful. The practice, therefore, is simple in concept but requires discipline. Observe every thought and emotion that arises and ask yourself the question of the gatekeeper. The question is this: does this thought or emotion come from love or from fear? Does it expand me or contract me? If the thought brings a feeling of expansion, peace, power, joy, comes from your true nature, from love, welcome it, nurture it, give it your energy. If the thought brings contraction, tightness, anxiety, anger, it's a program of the Matrix, a vibration of fear. You don't need to fight it. Just observe it, recognize it as an old program, and consciously withdraw your attention from it. By refusing to give your energy and focus to low vibration thoughts, you starve them. They're like ghosts that only have power if you believe in them. When you observe them without judgment and without identifying with them, they lose strength and dissolve back into the nothingness they came from. You stop feeding the Matrix with your own life force. You close the portal to fear frequencies and open it only to love. This is the true discipline of the initiate. It's not about controlling the world. It's about mastering yourself. And the divine irony is that when you master your inner world, the outer world inevitably aligns. You stop trying to change the reflection in the mirror and start polishing the source of the image. This practice of conscious vigilance is your most important work. It's what keeps you anchored in your frequency, even when the world around you is in chaos. It's what transforms you from a victim of circumstance to a master of your reality. This requires presence. You can't be the gatekeeper of the portal if you're living on autopilot. That's why all the practices we've discussed, like meditation and heart coherence, are so important. They train the muscle of your attention, allowing you to stay present and awareable, to choose your response instead of being hijacked by an automatic reaction. With each moment you consciously choose a thought of love over one of fear, you rewrite your programming and strengthen your sovereignty. We've reached the end of the map, but the true beginning of your journey. Because all of this knowledge, all of this revelation, comes down to a single point of power, the moment of choice, quantum consciousness, freedom, awakening. They're not destinations to be reached someday. They're choices. A choice you have to make now, and again, in every moment of your life. The fundamental question that echoes in the universe is no longer, am I ready? The question now and always will be, do I choose, in this exact moment, to be a channel for the universe's intelligence and love, instead of a slave to the fears in my mind? Do I choose, with every breath, to be an anchor of light and coherence in the planetary network, contributing to the collective elevation? Do I choose, in the face of every challenge, to operate from the frequency of love and unity, instead of giving in to the programming of anger and separation? That choice is yours and yours alone. It is your sovereign power, your birthright. Knowledge without application is just more weight for the mind. True transformation happens when you take that truth and embody it, live it in your bones, in your actions, in your words. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Start now. Choose gratitude over complaining. Choose forgiveness over resentment. Choose presence over distraction. Every small conscious choice is an act of power that dismantles the old reality and builds the new. This is not an invitation to buy a course or join a religion. This is an invitation to join a silent, global movement, a movement of awakened hearts. An invitation to energetically connect with the other nodes of the network, to take part in synchronized meditations, to focus your intention on healing and uplifting our world. It's an invitation for you to consciously and deliberately step into your role as a co-creator of the new earth. The revolution everyone was waiting for isn't coming. It won't be televised. It's here. And it's happening silently inside the hearts of people like you. The door to a new reality has always been open. The portal within your heart has always been active, waiting for your attention. The only question that really matters, the only one left is, will you walk through it? Will you have the courage to claim your power and live as the magnificent and unlimited being you truly are? If you made it this far, drop in the comments, I woke up at the right time. That shows the message resonated with you and helps spread this knowledge even further. If you want to support the channel more directly, there's a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute and help bring this content to more people. That's super important to me and for the growth of the channel. But just the fact that you watched all the way to the end already helped a lot. You can also share this video with someone who will understand this calling. And don't go just yet. Special video was picked out just for you. Click it now on the screen and I'll see you there.